From every strand on the line of your reel, to the rods, to the anglers, to the lures on the end of your hook, let's talk about those big bass here on Co-Angler's Corner with your host, Rob Welch and John Stoudinger.
Hello, everybody. I'm John.
How y'all are? Cajun Rob hanging out with you in frigid Kentucky.
It's not too bad in New York. It's off.
That ain't too bad yet.
All right. Tonight we have Kevin McGibney with K&K Kustomz on. It's not his first time on our show. He's been on here before talking about different things, electronics, and after market boat items. But tonight where he's going to talk about sponsorship. His take is going to be a lot different than what people think, because he's going to be talking about it from a sponsor side, not the one who wants to get sponsored, but the one doling out the money. So he'll share insights from. Oh, go ahead.
He cuts to the chase, guys. He'll give you the juice, and he'll give it to you straight. So be prepared.
All right, and he's going to help us understand what it means to be sponsored, and he's going to be brutally honest with us. So let's welcome Kevin aboard and say hello and get this going.
All right.
Hey, Rob. Hey, John. How are you?
How's it going, buddy?
Kevin, how are you?
Good. How you guys doing?
Outstanding.
So if you don't mind talking a little bit about who you are and what you do, and go on from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Kevin. I own K&K Kustomz LLC. We sell aftermarket boat accessories, equipment, power poles, Raptors, Humminbird, Garmin, Lowrance, you name it. We can put it on a boat. We sell it. We also have our own branded items that are for the industry now as well. And we're starting to really expand into that market. Graph mounts and shallow water anchor lights, all sorts of custom items. But
all right. So like I said in the introductions, Kevin's going to talk to us what it is sponsor looks for in a person when it comes to sponsorship from his take. So let's get this going, and I'll ask the first question, get us going. What do you look for in a fisherman when considering someone who wants to be sponsored?
So, we were talking about this a little before the show. What we look for, we don't look for anything. If you are going to come to us, what you should is have a very good social media presence. I think in the industry, that is what everybody's looking for. That's what moves the needle. Your accomplishments as a fisherman are great. Don't get me wrong. But when you send us a resume and, you've won 4 high school national championships and, now you're fishing for Montevallo College and you're doing well there, I'll be honest with you, at least for us, and I'm not going to say this is for everybody in the industry, but that absolutely means nothing to us unless you also have that social media presence side. Because for us, it's about, what you can do for us first, and then in return, what we can do for you.
100% agree.
Absolutely.
If anybody has any comments or questions, don't be afraid to ask, because Kevin will definitely lead us down the right path. Small water partners.
Absolutely. I'll tell you like it is. They may not want to hear it, but obviously I'm a tournament fisherman as well, and I deal, with sponsorship with Elite Series guys, Opens guys. So I kind of know, quite a bit about the subject, and not just from my company's point of view, but also from other companies' point of view, listening and talking with some of the elites and, their sponsorship deals and things like that.
Small Water Charters says, "Hey, John, Rob." Hello, Small Water Charter.
There you go, Small.
Rob, do you and American Angler Outdoors Network, which I believe we're streaming live on as well.
How's it going, Alvin?
Co-Angler Corner podcast. Rob, did you have a question for Kevin?
Yeah, just a quick question. I've heard kind of conflicting things. Now, when an angler has an LLC, does that really make a difference or no?
For a sponsor, no. So if it's a paid sponsorship, you're gonna get, if it's, I believe it's these over $600 that we pay you for sponsorship, you're gonna get a 1099 from us. You're gonna have to file a W-9 with us, and then you'll get a 1099 from us, for tax purposes. But doesn't really make a difference for us, as far. I'm not an accountant. I watched your accounting show, learned a lot, learned quite a bit from that too that I didn't know. But that's why we pay an accountant. But I'm not super familiar. I do know, obviously, if we're paying you more than $600, we got to get a W-9. You got to file a 1099. But I don't think it makes a difference whether you're an LLC or not.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another question is, are there any specific attributes or qualities that make a fisherman stand out for you?
I mean,
outside of social media.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, obviously, some people would say, oh, somebody who's clean cut. I don't care if you have long hair. I mean, I don't care if you have Tristan McCormick hair. I don't care, if you've got, a military haircut. That don't matter to me. It's about how you compose yourself off the water as well as on the water. That makes a difference, maybe, for me. And like I say, I've got somewhat of a type of recruiting system from within the Opens and also the Elite Series. So I have a person out there that does some recruiting for us, and I trust their judgment when they say, this is a good guy. This would be a good representative of your company. And then, like I say, sometimes we approach anglers. Most of the time it's anglers approaching us looking for sponsorship, but sometimes we do approach an angler, that we may want to have, on the team, we may want to sponsor, so to speak.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah. Now, how important is, social media presence versus, character?
I mean, you have to have both, right? You can't have, I don't think you can have a good social media presence without having good character. You can't represent yourself well in social media if you don't have that character. There's a couple specific anglers that I know even in the Elite Series that are really good fishermen. They have those accolades behind them, but if you listen to them speak, they're lacking in that department. You have to be very well-rounded for a company to want to represent you. And again, it comes back to, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter what you win, but you also have to be a good representation of that company and their products. Somebody who's, hey, got the new K&K Kustomz light, and it's a really good light, and you should buy it, right? I mean, that's not gonna cut it. You know what I'm saying?
Sounds like you're picking on me.
I know you well enough to know, John, you're not. That's not you. No.
Yeah, I don't have the light.
No, that is, like I say, we laugh about it, but there are people out there that just don't have it, right? And you know what I'm saying? They may have the fishing accolades, but they just don't have it, and we consider that not to be a very well-rounded person that's gonna ever really be highly sponsored. And then I'm not talking about from us, right? We're a very small peon in the world of sponsorship as far as the high level goes, Elite Series and, even the Opens, but I'm not talking about major corporations lose things like that. That's a totally different story. They might be looking for something a little different, that your fishing accolades might mean more to them than it does to me. But for me, it's about how you can help me sell product. And somebody who I have some people who don't even fish tournaments that sell more product for us than some of my opens guys and even, some of the Elite Series guys that I've had, sponsored in the past.
All right. I just want to say congratulations on your team. They did quite well in the Elites in their rookie year last year. And,
Yes, absolutely. They did. I mean, I think that all the rookies, not just the ones that were on the K&K team, I think all the rookies really showed out last year. And I really don't think this year is going to be any different. Looking at that lineup coming in, and I think it's going to be like that, definitely, last year's rookie group, this year's rookie group, seeing how they've broken down the EQ now is a little bit differently. I don't know if that'll take a little bit away, obviously, because now, it's based on those last tournaments, right? So somebody could get lucky in those last things. From what I understand, I could be wrong about this, is, you fish the 4 in each division, you qualify, they take 50 from this division, 50 from that division, and then all of a sudden you go to those last 3. Now, those last 3 are fall tournaments. Those last 3, I don't even know what lakes they're on, but, you could get a guy who's a very good fall fisherman, and all of a sudden he could really do well, hit 2 of them just right, and then, be enough to get in the third one, kind of like the EQs was, or not the EQs, but the opens were when it had the qualifying where you only needed to fish 3 and get in. I think, in my opinion, when, not to get off track of sponsorship, but when they had the EQs as all 9 tournaments, and it was, points on all those 9 all across the country, you really got the best of the best of, and most well-rounded guys, the guys that could fish largemouth, smallmouth, spotted bass, so it'll be interesting to see if that rookie bar level drops a little bit with that new format. We'll see, but I definitely know, obviously, that class coming in, I actually know quite a few of the guys, and they're hammers.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Can you give us a couple common mistakes that people do when they approach you for a sponsorship?
Well, how much time you got?
I don't know.
That's a good question. I could probably go on and on about. I'll try to condense it down. So, the most common mistake that I see, and like I say, I think I speak not just for our company, but for other companies in the industry, knowing them, talking to them, being friends with them, friends with Elite Series anglers, a lot of Open Series anglers. So I kind of know, I talk to them about their sponsorship and, how they got it and how they went about it and things like that. The most common mistake is to email us a resume and ask for money. That is going to get you absolutely nowhere, not only with us, but it's going to get you nowhere. I know for a fact it will get you nowhere with these companies. It'll get you a 10% off discount sent to you, probably, maybe, with some companies. It'll get you nothing from us. I was telling you guys before the show, I get probably at least a dozen resumes in the height of, when guys are looking for sponsorship, right? Not all throughout the year, but that, going into fall where they're looking for sponsorship coming in. Some are earlier than others and some wait till the last minute. But we get probably a dozen resumes in our inbox a month. And y'all might not want to hear this. I don't read I'll open it, and if it's just a resume, I don't even read it. I'm not interested. That's a giant turnoff for us. if you're doing that, and we know right away that you're not going to be a good representative because you don't know how to approach sponsorship. So, if you're out there, if you're a young high school angler or whatever, and you're trying to, get some help, may it be, baits, goods, or even money, just going out and making a resume and sending it out and hoping you get something back is not the way to get sponsored. And then I would imagine your next question might be, well, what is the right way to go about it? So from our standpoint, what I'm looking for is I would like you first you call me, right? Don't send me an email. That's very impersonal. I like to have a very good rapport with people we sponsor, almost become a friend, and you can call me anytime, get me, even though I'm very busy. You can get me. You want to talk about things, you want to talk about equipment, or you want to, just talk about your sponsorship and how, you could, what you could do better for us or whatever. Certainly just call. But if you're going to look for sponsorship, first of all, you should be picking up the phone and you should be calling. But I'm going to tell you, if you call us or me, and I answer the phone and you're approaching sponsorship, if I'm even interested in you, I'll already know who you are. And the way I'll know who you are is you will there's a couple ways. Either you will have already bought one of our products or bought, merchandise from us. If you have a YouTube channel, you've made an unboxing video, you've, made a review of our product. You've done something like that. Or, even if it's not YouTube, it's a short on YouTube or a short on Instagram or something social media wise. You've either tagged us in the post, and it could be as simple as not even you on there. I mean, it could just be you. Let's say you buy one of our shallow water anchor lights and you mount it on your Raptor, and you take a picture of it and you tag us in it. Or if we post things constantly. Obviously, we have a pretty good social media presence, I'd like to think. And we post things if you're sharing them with us. So if you're sharing our stuff, you've posted a video about a product that we've made or you've bought from us, and it could be a hummingbird, could be anything, or it could be any of the vendors that we deal with. If you've made a post and you said, hey, I bought my new Garmin Live Scope from K&K Kustomz, arrived fast, quick shipping. You've left us a Google review or whatever. That's how you get noticed by us. And like I say, when you do that for a little while, and then call me on the phone, and you'll get a conversation with me, and we'll talk, because I'll already have known your name. But if you just slide a resume in my inbox, outside of you winning the Bassmasters Classic, I could care less.
Yeah, got that name recognition. Exactly.
Just to answer your question, how long do we have? Well, we're scheduled till 11 on the streaming channel. So,
that's from Alvin. That's from the main.
That was from Al.
I don't know if I can go that long.
It's bedtime.
You keep asking me questions, I'll keep trying to answer.
All right, I'm going to run through a couple of these. Fish, Her, Ashley Klaus, James Minold, and John Adams all says good evening.
How are you?
So you already covered about building relationship.
I can.
Nice, quick.
I'm efficient. That's what I said, man. Hey, we get right to the point here.
Yeah. What about how can they demonstrate professionalism and accountability when representing a sponsor?
Professionalism and accountability. Wow, that's a good one. You're using some big words there.
Wearing shoes.
So, professionalism, obviously that's, it goes back to, like I said, being very professional on water, off water. Don't have controversy behind your name. When you're off the water
Don't get a
or
fist
even
fight.
within a tournament, right? You want to be sponsored. You want companies to stand behind you or stick with you, and that's another thing. You know, you could be great up to the point you get sponsored, and then all of a sudden, you know, some things happen. You know, there's how do I put this? Maybe there's some shady things going on that your name is surrounded by, and you know, obviously, you know, it has to be proven. But at the same time, you're a representative of that company. You have to know that that's, you know, probably not going to fly, and that's a good way to lose your sponsorship. You know, I know a certain Elite Series angler, and I know him well. Matter of fact, I sponsored him when he was in the Opens, and there was some controversy behind him, and I believe a lot of it, honestly, was not what it's portrayed to be or what it was portrayed to be, but because of that, you know, he lost a lot of his sponsorship. You know, and I think he'll be all right. He's a good kid, but that's, like I say, it all comes down to, like you say, that professionalism, and that, you know, don't maybe try to play in the gray area, right? That gray area was the big buzzword for the Opens this year, or I should say the Elites this year. You know, with the rookies, right? Especially was that quote gray area. So, like I say, it's you know, be professional on and off the water. You know, that's all I can say, I guess, about that.
And I've seen a bunch of pros are really good. I know a few. They'll sign autographs, you know, 2 hours after the show. I mean, every kid treat
Right.
everybody the same.
Right. And that's the other thing. Like, you know, like I said, because I'm close with the Elite Series and close with the Opens, stuff gets back to us, right? And I hear about things, and like you say, if you know, you've got a couple, you got to understand these kids. It was just most, I would think, would understand this because at one time they were them, right? Because when we start out tournament bass fishing, I'm not going to say there's not some of them that all of a sudden decide that they want to be professional fishermen, but I think most of us aspire to do that from when we're very young. So when we're very young, we looked up to those people, right? When I was a kid, it was, you know, the Denny Browers and the Larry Nixons and those type of guys. So, like I say, when we hear about you and there's young kids there and they're waiting in line for your autograph and you just walk by or you snub them or you don't give them that time, you know, we hear about it as a company, as a sponsor. And like I say, that's the professionalism on and off the water. And that's a really good point you brought up, Rob, is, you know, people are always watching. Especially when you're in the limelight, you know, not as much as when you're, you know, in the Opens, but when you get to that major league level of the elites, right? Eyes are always on you. And you never know. I mean, I was watching, I think it was one of Scott Martin's videos, and he was backstage and he was doing an interview. And, you know, obviously everybody knows, you know, Kyle Patrick is one of our sponsored pros. He's a very good friend of mine as well, on and off the water. And when I was watching Scott's video, you know, Kyle was walking off the stage in the background and somebody called out his name, and, you know, he turned right around and gave him the time of day. He didn't just keep walking. So that's what I mean. When you're, you know, he had no idea there was even a camera there, you know, but we notice things, you know, and things also get back to us as well, because, you know, everybody says it. This industry you think is very big. It is very small as well. And we all talk, you know, a lot, you know, all these companies talk. We talk about anglers. We talk about, you know, things that are going on in the industry as far as, you know, controversial things that are going on in the Elite Series or the Opens, or, you know, you're not going to hide it. And so, like I say, always be on your best behavior, be professional, and be a good representative to your sponsors. And they'll stick with you, provided you're helping them, will stick with you. I like to form relationships, in the opens level, and hopefully carry that into the elite series level and continue it. Now, there's been guys that we've sponsored in the opens that have stepped up to the elites, and it gets to a point where, the return on investment isn't there for us with what they want. And it's not that they're asking too much. It's just they can't carry through, and we can't get that return on investment, right? The standard, I believe, in the industry, and I think this is a little high, but it's right around a 10x that a company kind of needs to see on that. Now, I would, for me, my company, right, because we're small, I would love to see on a paid person, I would like to see at least a 5x return on that. And if we're not getting that return on investment, we don't have the money to afford to just pay out to people. And I'll be honest, there's only one angler that got a 1099 from us this year. So
congratulations, Rob.
Yeah, you'll be getting that in the mail soon, Rob.
Thank you.
Yep. But like I said, it's Kyle Patrick, KGP Fishing. He is our top tiered sponsored angler for us. We have other people who are on deals, equipment deals, things like that. But as far as actually physically paid out, that gets a 1099, whether they like it or not, is just one angler with us.
Yeah, and I bet he put the work in. There ain't no doubt that guy's put the work in.
He has put the work in, and it's a funny story because he would be honestly a perfect person. And I don't know if you can get him, obviously, with his stardom now. And I don't know if you're watching Kyle, he might be, but he would be a great person to have on yours, because I think he has a very unique way of approaching sponsorship that works. And it obviously works because, he's on a top tier level of percentage wise, even in the elite series of sponsorship dollars. He's up there. And then obviously this is only his, sophomore season in the elites, but he's already gained that. And it's because of his professionalism on and off the water. But what it's mostly is how he approaches sponsorship. And I won't get into that. If you could get him on the show, it would be great, because I think he really gets it. But we started sponsoring Kyle, and I don't know what year it was, but back when Kyle was just locally fishing tournaments, and he wanted to put on like a tournament trail series.
Yep.
And he said, "Hey, listen, I'm looking for a couple of sponsors to get behind this tournament trail." So we didn't even sponsor Kyle per se. We sponsored his tournament trail. And, that's how we got involved with Kyle. And then obviously when, he wanted to do the opens and do that, we were already kind of behind him there. So we've been with him a very long time, and, that kid, he gets it. He gets what sponsorship is. He knows how to approach it. And, it might be one of those things where, you as an angler, you might not want to do it, or you might not want to hear it, but you may have to work with a company for a year or two with absolutely no benefit coming from that company to prove to them what you can do. And that's another good way to approach sponsorship is to call up and say, "Hey, listen, I've sat down, I've looked at your company, I look at the products you sell. I would love to work with you. Let me show you how I can help you. I'm willing to work with you for a year. And at the end of the year, if I haven't brought X amount of customers to you that have bought X amount of dollars of product, then, so be it. But I believe I can certainly help you out in that way." And then obviously we're never going to turn somebody down in that case. But you have to be also willing to sometimes work for free, if you want a return.
And part of
Absolutely.
that is
Working shows and whatnot. Yeah, I've done that. Work shows, help whatever need. Sell to
Absolutely.
customers, help load, unload the trucks, whatever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's not, just let's, hey, I want you to throw a jersey on and be in a booth at a sports show. Like you say, it might be just what Rob said. It might be helping set up for that show. And you might already be at that show and you might be in another company's booth. But you know what? Say, hey, listen, Kevin, man, I see, you're by yourself. You're trying to set this up at this show. Let me, is there anything I can do to help you out? Those things go a long way, not just, hey, what can you do for me? That's the biggest mistake, is approaching a company and saying, what can you do for me? We're not interested in what we can do for you. It's first and foremost what you can do for that company. And then in return, when that company sees you providing value to them, they're going to work with you.
Oh, yeah.
Most likely, not all the time, but trust me, if you're providing value to a company, you're a good asset to them. So they're going to get behind you.
I said they're going to recognize your name and, oh yeah, that guy helped us at the, spring show or whatever. That's going to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like I say, we all talk, right? So it might not be sponsorship from us, but, I might be on the phone with Justin from Russell Marine Products, and I might say, hey, man, I'll tell you what, there's this guy, man. I couldn't believe it. He helped me out. He came to, it's a sports show, and he unloaded my truck for me and set things up and, told me who he was, and, then he went on his way, and trust me, that goes a long way, because now if all of a sudden you go to Justin for sponsorship, and you say who you were, and you say, hey, yeah, I was at that sports show. Yeah, I know, Kevin from K&K, I helped him load his truck. Now all of a sudden the wheels start turning, and he says, no, I know who you are. Yep. You were already brought to my attention, so, and then there's different level people. Some people don't want to, don't want sponsorship where they get paid. Some people just want to be pro staff, and they just want a 10% off coupon, and they want the ability to throw a logo on their jersey and have 42 on the front of their jersey. And that's fine and dandy if that's what you want, but if you're looking at, high school and then moving on to college fishing and maybe skipping college fishing, going straight to the opens, if that's your goal, is to get to that level, like I say, I think a lot of what I say should resonate with you. Because I don't just speak for our company. I know what a lot of companies are looking for, the same things.
Absolutely.
Wow, a lot of great points there. All right, we got a comment from James Minold. You want to hit that one?
Yep, got it.
Okay. He feels some fishermen nowadays kind of lost the reason or passion for the sport that we all love. The controversy and lacking helping others is kind of growing to the back burner nowadays.
I would agree with that. And it's, I see it a lot in forums, and that's another thing, right? Like I say, if you're, we post up an ad, I'll get back to his question because it'll tie all in. But if we post an ad up in a forum, and I own people don't know this, but I own a lot of the forums, Facebook forums for marine equipment and things like that. And I'm also in a lot of other ones. Like I say, we have a good social media presence, I would like to believe. But when we post an ad up and it says, hey, listen, go get your equipment from K&K. He's a great guy or whatever. When you make posts like that, not only one, does it jump it up to the top, but it also, people see that, it instills confidence with them. And trust me, we notice those people who are doing those things for us. But where I was going with that and his question, I believe it because I see in the forums so much attack on people asking questions and things like that. Like, It's horrible. If somebody's in a forum and they're asking a question about a piece of equipment or something like that, or has a live scope question, they're not there to get bombarded with negative comments like, didn't you read the book? And some of it, don't get me wrong, I look at some of it too, and I'm like, well, that answer was pretty common. But at the same time, I see a lot of people berating people and things in this industry on forums and things like that. And I believe it's like he said, I don't think that we got away from that, all helping each other and things like that. And there's still a lot of it out there, but I think we could do better.
Oh yeah. And you see a lot of negative comments like, oh, this brand is junk. I mean, that even if you're not with them or, you're with your company, don't be bad mouthing anybody. I mean,
100%, 100%, and if you've had experience with that, and then see, that's the thing a lot of times with social media is, I try to go in a lot of forums, and I try to comment on things because I see a lot of false information. And what happened is people are going to these sources to get information. So when you've got guys who don't know anything about what they're talking about, and posting that on there, somebody's going to read that and think that's the truth. So, we can't be everywhere. But I also, if I see something that's false, I'll go in and I try to correct it. Now, at the same time, if you've bought a product and you've had a very negative experience with that company, or whatever, then by all means, you have the right to post that up, as well. And it helps keep companies, myself and other companies, in check as well. We don't really have that problem, I'd like to think, because we obviously pride ourselves in our customer service and taking care of our customers. But at the same time, if there's a company out there, that's a way to hold them accountable. So, but I agree with you, Rob. If you've never used the product, or you don't just go in there just to badmouth them just because, for instance, I mean, here's a great one. I think a company that got a lot of negative press, Guggen Baits, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people probably didn't even buy Guggen Baits, but because of who the Guggens were and, the way they became very wealthy, a lot of people were jealous with that. And right away they're, oh, Guggen Baits suck and don't buy Guggen Baits. And, I think, now if you use Guggen Baits and, right, we all know they're pretty soft and they tear very easily, and you go through a lot of them and you're not happy with that, then feel free to post that. But just don't go on and bash a company that you've had no experience with. And I've actually experienced this in my own company. And like I say, we own a lot of the forums and we're in a lot of the forums. And if we comment, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but there was one time I made a comment in there. Somebody was asking about towing and about motors and trucks, and I made a comment that I had a Duramax diesel and with an Allison transmission, and I also had a twin turbo EcoBoost F-150 that was a V6, and I said that honestly, that V6 twin turbo EcoBoost outpulled my Duramax diesel. And people can say what they want about that, but it offended one guy. And what he did is, because it offended him, he went and he left us a negative Google review about our business. And everybody knows in business, there's nothing you can do about a negative Google review. You can't get it off there. It's on there. So, there's those type of people as well. And I just think that's, like I say, we can do better, and private message me, have a conversation with me about that and say, hey, listen, man, I think you're wrong about that or whatever, but don't go, especially with a company like us that prides ourselves on our customer service, our 5-star Google feedback and things like that. Don't go on there and leave a negative review about a company, whether it be my company or any other company, just because you have a problem with either the owner or whatever, with something he said in a forum that you didn't like or agree with.
Yeah, but it's your opinion. That's That's weird. I mean, I just
Exactly. It's just, it was my opinion, right? And it might not be the opinion of everybody that's owned both, but I own both. And to be honest with you, that was my opinion, and why he took such offense to it, to the point where he left a negative comment. You know, and there's been other instances. I remember another instance where somebody left our company a bad Google review because I had to boot them from a forum, because of breaking forum violations over and over again. I had to wind up booting them from the forum, and they didn't like it, and they left us a negative Google review for our business because of that. You know, if it's justified, then it's justified for a bad Google review. But if it's unjustified, don't be going out there and leaving companies negative Google reviews or negative Facebook, you know, reviews because of something that happened on a forum or something like that, just because you disagreed with what they had to say.
Yeah. Here's a topic that a lot of people have a hard time dealing with: politics. Do you recommend that someone who wants to be a sponsored angler avoid posting political things on their?
That's a great question, and it's actually one I'm very passionate about. Is, I think, not only in business, but also in taking yourself and making yourself a business and trying to put yourself out there to sponsors and things. There shouldn't be anything political on there. Now, you can have your own social media presence with your name, okay? And if you want to, I wouldn't advise it, but if you want to have your political opinions on there, by all means. But if you have, I'll just use, for instance, KGP Fishing, you know, you shouldn't be posting political stuff, because here's the thing, the way I look at political and from a business standpoint is, you automatically, if, let's just say, offend 50% of your market when you post political stuff. You know, whether you're right, whether you're left, it doesn't matter. You shouldn't get political when you're in the eye. And I think these actors and things like that, I think they're the same way, right? I mean, I don't know why they get so political. I think because, right, that whole industry maybe is, whether it's right or left, whatever, it happens to be left, but you know, they're all left, so they get away with it. But you know, it's in this industry, the fishing industry, the marine industry, it's we're not all left or we're not all right. We you know, there's, like I say, you're going to offend 50% of your market being political, and it's the same with a sponsor. I don't think is going on there. A company is not going to go on there and like political posts, whether they agree with your political opinions or not. Being a business and looking at it from a business standpoint, any good business should always stay out of politics.
Good point.
And just remember, when you approach somebody to sponsor you, your body, your name is a business.
100%. 100%. That's why I said you are a business at that point. You know, whether, like Rob said, you're an LLC with your end of your fishing, or you're not. Just because you add LLC on there doesn't automatically, you know, it might automatically make you a business, but you were a business before you had that LLC on the end of your name. You know, you are a business. You are a representation of the companies that you represent. So, you know, just don't be political. I mean, it's just, you shouldn't do that. And I've had some conversations with some anglers that we've been, you know, either on our affiliate type program or something like that, that I've had to say, hey, listen, you know, knock it off with the political stuff. And you know, some of them got offended about that, but you know, you're a representation of us. So we also don't need somebody saying, oh, look, they represent K&K Kustomz, and, you know, they've got, you know, look what they're posting. And I don't agree with that, you know, because all of a sudden they'll associate that person's opinion with our company. And like I say, we just, you know, there's times I'd love to post political stuff. Trust me. But I know enough as a business person that you stay away from politics, right? You've got a business, you're not putting signs out in your yard, and you know what I'm saying? You just a person that if you're a person, you should not have any clue of that business, which way they lean, whether it be right or left or independent or whatever. You shouldn't have any inkling of what that business is for or against as far as politics go. Because if you do, that means you're a business that's putting it out there. And like I said, in my opinion, you're automatically offending 50% of your market.
And I've noticed some anglers, more young anglers, they'll have like 2 or 3 plastic companies. How do you represent 3 companies that's doing the same thing?
It's funny that you bring that. It's funny that you bring that up because there was a Elite Series angler on the Elite Series this year, and they're sponsored by Powerhouse. And like I say, we all talk, right? A lot, not all of us, right? I'm not saying I know everybody in the industry, but a lot of us all talk, and they represent Powerhouse. And I talked to I seen who they took on as their new sponsors, and I brought it up to Powerhouse. I said, well, how do they have this company and this company as a sponsor? Because it's a direct conflict of interest.
Yep.
And they actually called that angler up and they said, hey, listen, you took so-and-so on as a sponsor. Isn't that a conflict of interest with so-and-so? Oh, geez, I never thought about that. So
wow.
Yeah. So like I say, it's like you say, how do you have 3 soft plastic companies or 3 different hard bait companies, or there's not saying be totally 100% loyal to one brand. I mean, because there's crossovers, right? There's soft plastics that also make jigs and things like that. And, but yeah, I would agree. And from like my standpoint, let's say my business. So K&K Kustomz, if you're sponsored by us, you probably shouldn't be sponsored by K&K Kustomz and Russell Marine Products, right? Because we're both in the same industry. And then how does that work? Right? How do you do it? What do you say? Well, I push 50% of the people looking for electronics to you, and I push 50% of the people to them. It just doesn't work out. There's conflicts obviously there. So
yeah. But I have run into where I've had a rod sponsor, and all of a sudden they made reels, but I had a reel sponsor. So I contacted both of them. Hey, I'm going to use your rods, but it's okay to use these reels. Have that conversation.
Yep. No, absolutely. And if you have a conversation, and I know this for a fact because, from Kyle's in the same boat, right? He has a reel sponsor, and he has a rod sponsor, and that reel sponsor of him, very well-known company, makes rods, but he doesn't use their rods. He uses their reels, but he uses a different company's rods. And if you up front and you have that conversation with them, you say, when you're in talks with sponsorship, you say, hey, listen, I'm very happy with the rod sponsor I've had them since the inception of when I was trying to start tournament fishing. But I really, love your products that you sell, and would you be interested, in sponsorship? Or, I mean, obviously that's not the way you ask, but maybe I could just use your reels, and use that other company's rods. And some companies will be all for it, and other companies might say, no, if you're going to use our reels, you have to use our rods, and then at that point you have to make a decision. And if you're at that point where you're having those talks, you're already up here. So
but have respect and talk to them. Say, hey, I'm thinking
absolutely.
about this. Yeah,
absolutely. It's like anything. That's the professionalism, right? Have that company's going to respect you for calling them up and saying, it's like, having raptors on your boat and having hummingbirds and having a Minn Kota trolling motor, but saying, hey, listen, I'll be honest with you. I really like, and I'm dialed in with my Garmin with forward-facing sonar. So is there a way we could work it out to where I run all of your products, but I don't run Mega Live? You know, and I know they'll do it because I know there's guys out there doing it. Now they may not like do it. You may not have that level of sponsorship with Johnson Outdoors that you would have had if you ran their whole products. But at that point, you have to make it known whether that, you know, is it worth it to you? Is it worth it to you to get more money and maybe use forward facing sonar with equipment that you're not as confident in or you don't know as well? Or is it better to take less money and have all the tools that you're very comfortable using?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, let's hit this comment here with Al with the American Angler Outdoors says, I like to ask companies for commercials. Send me 2 to a 30-second commercial. Let me run it for a few months and let's talk and see how it did.
Yeah, that's also I've done something similar as well. You know, I've said, hey, listen, is it okay? And this is, like I say, sometimes we approach anglers. Is it okay if I send you this product? You know, try it out. Let me know what you think of it. If you like it, make me a 30-second clip that I can post on Instagram with you know, talking about that. And, you know, a lot of times they're more apt to, you know, to do that. And that's exactly right. Let me see how that ad does. Does it bring revenue in? Does it sell lights? And if it does, well, then I'm going to come back to you and I'm going to say, hey, listen, man, you did that little 30-second ad with me, and let's talk. Let's see what else we can do together to be mutually beneficial.
Absolutely.
I'll do that for you, Kevin. But the issue is you need to send the boat along with the electronics.
we got to get you. We got to get you a boat, John. We got to get you a pink wrapped boat.
All right, hear that, Tricia? I take donations. Past guest Olivia Barafio says, when talking about the 10x return, how do you value time such as expos and shows?
And see, this is, and that's a great question because it is hard to track. It's hard to track how much somebody brings in because, you know, let's say, for instance, you know, we're on the side of the boat and, you know, the boat's driving down the road and the guy doesn't know who K&K Kustomz is, and they Google K&K Kustomz and, oh, wow, look, yeah, I was looking for that Humminbird unit. They got it in stock and they buy it, right? How are we're never going to know that. We're never going to know he saw it on that. So it is very hard to track that. So, you know, you have a point with the whole 10x return. But a lot of that comes from the people telling us, right? Hey, I was at a sports show, you know, one of our right. John Cruz was just doing a sports show and one of our, we had a light sale today, you know, come through the website. And I know it was from him because I know where he is and I know the location of where it was bought. And, you know, so I know that. So, you know, we see that, right? I could correlate that to a sale. You know, John probably said, hey, yeah, that's the K&K Kustomz light on my boat. Yeah, I really like it. And, you know, that guy ordered a light. So, you know, there is ways. I would say if you're an angler, you know, and you're working with a company and, you know, have that person call if available, right? Not all companies you can call up and order. Some are just online. There's very few. I think pretty much all companies you could call, but call that company and say, hey, listen, you know, so-and-so told me about this, and, you know, I'm calling up to order one. And like I say, we can keep track of that. You know, people say, well, you know, can you give me that? This was big, right? Can you give me a discount code that I can hand out? And some companies, I'm sure, do that, right? I see it all the time. Use, you know, JCX15, you know, when you check out at K&K Kustomz, right? The problem with that is maybe you haven't done nothing for 9 months, and then all of a sudden, right, you're rolling into the new year, and you know you haven't done nothing for 9 months. So next thing you know is you post in a forum, hey, go to K&K Kustomz and use JCX 15 to get 15% off anything on their website. And then all of a sudden, stuff starts flowing into us, right? So that's the problem with codes, right? And I've seen that exact thing happen before. So, like I say, the best thing that you can do is tell the people who you're talking to about a product to call up and order that. Sometimes it's not convenient. I understand that it's more convenient. Everybody wants to sit behind a computer and order online. Or if you do order online, and I've had this happen before, there's usually, you can put notes on an order even when you order online. Have them put in the notes. John, told me, Rob told me, sent me here, and that's a good way we can track it as well. So like I say, I mean, it's, we look for a 5X, but let's put it to you. If your first year, you were a 3 or a 4X and you didn't hit that 5X tier, we're not going to drop you. You know what I'm saying? Now, if, we're looking for a 5X return, and, whether that had been, maybe we gave you free equipment, or, right? Like I said, there's only one angler that's getting a 1099 this year. So obviously, there's only one angler we paid more than $600. So, any of the other sponsored anglers are either they're getting free product or they're getting discounts on product, which in my mind is not pro staff, as is an affiliate program. I hate the word pro staff. But like I say, I don't know. We go on and on about it, but like I say, just try to have them make a note. That's the best thing I think you can do is have them make a note. And like you say, either call up an order or put it in the comments, so-and-so sent me, because like you say, then we can track that. But, don't be so hard on yourself if you're not hitting that 5X return or whatever, what I'm saying? But also too, if we sponsor you and we tell you, hey, listen, this is what we're looking for an ROI out of you, is like about a 5X return based on whether that be the total cost of equipment that was provided to you, or, what we gave you in a discount, and 5X might not be a lot, right? 5X to one guy might be 50 grand. 5X to another guy may have been, hey, you worked with us. We seen you were shouting us out in the forums or whatever. You needed an anchor light for your boat and we sent it to you. And, it was $129. Well, I'm looking for 5X of that. And let me tell you, it's not very hard. If you shout us out in a forum and a guy says, hey, so-and-so sent me here to buy a $3,500 Garmin Graph and live scope, you've already way exceeded 5X. So don't think it's always so hard to get to a 5X, right? But that's what I look for, is at least like a 5X. So if I gave you a free light, it's $129.99 times 5. And that's what I'm looking for you to bring back to me. And then, if you do that, then, we might provide you with a higher level of equipment. Maybe you call me and we send you, a graph mount, a light, I'm trying to think what else. We got so much stuff, but we send you a package that's worth $1,000, right? Well, so then we're looking for a 5X return on 1,000, and that's $5,000. So send two people that buy Garmin's, and you just fulfilled that 5,000, right? So, it's nice in the world of what we do. It's not like, say, fishing lures or soft plastics that cost $3.25 or $5 a pack, right? It takes a lot to get maybe a 10X return on a $1,000 worth of free lures that they sent you. With my company, we're selling $5,000 trolling motors and $3,000 graphs and $6,000 and $10,000 graphs. Even for that guy that we maybe are on, gave out $10,000 or paid to, and we're looking for at least 50,000 back on them. It was that $5,000 Garmin's?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, and you're there, right? And then, like I say, then we talk the following year, and I know Kyle, for instance, and I hate to keep bringing him up, but Kyle has steadily increased every year he's come to us. We've increased the value that we are paying him because of his performance. So that, you know, it's there, and it's there with other companies as well. But, you know, be professional on and off the water, you know, show that company you're working for them, you know, help them out. You know, we write contracts, you know, to our anglers who are either highly, you know, elite level, you know, they're under a contract, you know, fulfill that contract and then go above and beyond that contract. Don't just say, hey, well, I fulfilled the contract and that's it, I'm done, right? The contract may say, hey, we need at least, you know, 21 minute social media videos of you with our product throughout there. You know, don't say, hey, I did 20, I'm done.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, do 25, do 30. Show you're willing to go above and beyond for that company, and they will go and above and beyond for you.
Absolutely.
It's just like getting a promotion. Oh,
you're good. Go ahead, John.
it's just like getting a promotion for work. You don't want to do the bare minimum. You got to exceed everybody else.
Exactly. And it's like that way anywhere. It doesn't matter if it's your job. If you're looking for a promotion, show your boss you're going above and beyond. They notice it. And when it comes time for somebody to get promoted, they're going to promote that person more than likely, not always, but more than likely they're going to promote that person that went above and beyond. You know, that said, hey, listen, you know, I'll take so-and-so shift, or I'll work the overtime. You know, that person who is 5 o'clock and runs out the door every day and, you know, maybe got asked to work in a Saturday and said, nah, I can't do it. Right. They're not going to be the person that gets the promotion or the person who gets the better raise. It's like that. Anything with life and sponsorship, you know, in the marine industry or any industry is no different than that, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was going to tell Olivia real quick. Now, value time is expos. If you go out there for a sponsor at expo and show and you're just out there helping people, talking up, I mean, it makes a big difference. And in the show, they'll say, man, that lady really knocked it out. You know, they're not keeping up with the figures, but they're saying, man, she put the work in. She helped customers. She went above and beyond. And in the show, they're going to say, man, she knocked it out.
100%. And I've seen this, right, at the Bassmasters Classic. Right. There's sponsored anglers that are in the booth, and, you know, they're sitting in the back of the booth and people are coming up and asking them, you know, for pictures or an autograph. And they're not even there in the booth representing the product per se. You know, it's more or less they're there representing the product because of their name. Right. But you know what? Pick up that rod, you know, show them, hey, listen, this is a rod, and this is, you know, what are you looking to do? This is the rod I would choose. This is the action that I would have if you're, you know, looking to shake a minnow or whatever. That company's going to notice that, you know, rather than you just being on a stool sitting in a booth signing autographs, you know, and you're there from 12:30 to 1 o'clock, and, you know, you're looking around and looking at your watch and can't wait till your time till you got to go to your next sponsor's booth, right? You know, and that it doesn't. I'm not just saying the classic, but even a small little sports show, right? Go out there, like Rob said, go out there and interact with the people coming. Hey, are you interested in this? Let me show you. I use this, and here's why I use it. And then, you know, try to sell that product for them. And if they see that, maybe you don't sell any products for them, but just that level of effort is going to be huge.
Oh yeah, they're going to remember that, and
100%.
They're going to say, "Oh yeah, I remember that. They showed me at the show." So yeah,
100%, 100%. And the thing with shows is real quickly is with shows, you might not have seen, you know, you might have talked to a person and you said, hey man, I was really hustling like this, and I didn't, you know, nobody bought anything, right? Well, they might have not bought anything at the show, but see, with shows, a lot of times what happened is people don't pull the trigger at the show.
Yeah.
People go home, they think about it, and then they pull the trigger. So you maybe made multiple sales that you didn't even realize you made. So don't be too tough on yourself, but just put in the effort, because that company is going to see that effort. And like you say, they might order it, and, you know, I Anastasia talked to me at the Classic about this, you know, this, and you know, they might put that in their notes when they order, or they might say that to the phone operator when they call to order their stuff, you know?
Absolutely.
Yep. Well, we're about 5 minutes over an hour. Do you want to keep going, or you want to cut it out?
I mean, I've got time. If you've got time, I mean, you got questions or they've got questions. I mean, I'm happy to answer. And
Yeah.
we can go off sponsorship topic even with questions. If anybody's got questions for me, equipment wise, things like that.
Absolutely. Let's see. Al's got something real quick.
Yeah, he would give a small discount code to anglers and then track the areas that they were used.
Yeah, you can do that. Like I say, there's a problem with that as well. And in the world of social media, I think back in the day that worked a lot better when you're at a sports show, right?
Yep.
And you could say, hey, to the person, hey, let me give you out my code or whatever like that. When we're in that world of social media, I think you have to, and Lord knows everybody can run their company and do the way their pro staff or affiliate programs or the way they see fit, for sure. I just look at that as a problem because in the social media world, you can't, we as business owners can't be everywhere. And it's very easy for them to just put that code out on the internet. And then the next thing, everybody's grabbing that. And all that guy did was put the code in on the internet. He's not working for you. You may think he's working for you because all of a sudden you see tons of these orders coming in with his discount code, but all he did is he put his discount code in online somewhere in a forum, and it generated revenue. And maybe that's good for you. Maybe you like that, and if that works for you, great. I don't know. Maybe people like people spreading a code around and it gets you sales. And then some people just look for just the sales end of it, right? I think, kind of in prep for this, I went and I watched a couple of your other people who were talking about sponsorship just to see, kind of their feelings on it. And I remember one guy, said the same thing. Like it's not the whole discount code thing. And it just, I think I forget what he said. It kind of is ruining the industry for sponsorship for other people because of that, because of doing that.
Yeah, I think it was in the context of people wanting to get sponsorship, so they settle for a discount code.
That's exactly what it was. I forget who it was on that podcast. Funny guy, actually.
Yeah.
But he's exactly what he said, and I 100% agreed with him on that. People are settling for that pro staff, for that discount code, that 10% off, and then being able to slap, patch pirates, I guess we call them, and being able to slap that name on their jersey. And I think he had mentioned, he had seen some guys one jersey hit me, and that's the other thing. If you have 42 companies on a jersey and they're 2 inches by 2 inches, how is anybody supposed to know really who you're representing, or be able to read their company's logo on your jersey, right? You have to think about that too. As far as like jerseys go, right? To be honest with you, and this is not obviously, I talk about things more on like say the Opens level and the Elite Series level, because that's where most of our sponsorship stuff goes, right? We do. I've had a kid that I won't call it sponsored. I like to say like affiliate program or whatever. That's, he's been with us since, before K&K Kustomz was even in the marine industry, with my other company, which we did work in the marine industry, but he's been with me since he's 8 years old. I just thought he was a really great kid. He came to me and he said, hey, listen, I think you could help me out or whatever. And, I'm looking, put power poles on my boat. And I said, you know what? I said, I love that, because I was that kid, right? Yeah. I was, I wanted to fish. It wasn't the Elite Series then, but I wanted to fish the Elite Series since I'd been 5 years old. I blew out my shoulder and gave up on that dream real early in my early 20s. And, I'm fortunate enough now to be in this industry and play with those guys, so to speak, and fish with those guys and have the relationships with the Elite Series and be around it and be at Elite Series events and be at opens and things like that, be on camera boats. And so I kind of fulfilled my dream that way, being in the Elite Series, but not in the Elite Series, if that makes sense. So
yeah. And that's how you and I met. You were a camera boat.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. On Oneida.
Oneida. Yep.
Yep. For Kyle, I'll never forget you. You caught a fish on a dock behind Kyle Patrick, which should go down in history as
because he's a vacuum.
that never gets done, man. That kid's a human vacuum cleaner on docks, and it's funny because I laugh because everybody's he's one of these forward-facing sonar kids, and he can't fish shallow water, and he doesn't know. If you took his live scope away, he couldn't catch him, and it's so far from the truth with that kid, man. He's so good before forward-facing sonar even came out.
Yeah.
If you've ever watched that kid skip docks, and I know you have, John, and he's only gotten better. If you've ever watched him skip docks, it is masterful, absolutely masterful. That kid can put a jig where, I would even gather to say he can put a jig in places under a dock that 90% of the Elite Series anglers, the older guys that are complaining that these kids can't fish without forward-facing sonar, he put a jig. He's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I'm sure if you put up some PVC pipe underneath docks, he could hit that pipe.
Well, it's funny. We were up on, God, what lake was it? Cayuga. And we were there the day before tournament. We were fishing, I believe, Douglas Open tournament, and I was fishing with Kyle as his co. And we were just messing around, and there was a line of like pipe docks, that they had pipe for the going down in there, and they were metal docks, and there was a line of about 5 or 6 of them that were like totally perfectly in line. And me and another guy, Jimmy, were there, and Kyle said, "Oh, let's have a little casting competition, skipping competition between like you and Jimmy, let's see how you could skip under docks." And so we did like best out of 10 or whatever.
Right.
I won't say who won, but we said we got Kyle, and we said, well, let's see how you are, and we were, I don't know, it was probably like 5 out of 10, let's just say. I don't remember exactly what it was. And so Kyle skipped, and he put it under the dock without even making a ding or anything 10 out of 10 times. And I remember I said to him, me and Jimmy both said to him, they said, "Hey, listen, can you go around 4 dock posts and ding the dock post, the 5th dock post?" And whether he got lucky with this or not, his first skip, he literally, and like I say, these are perfectly in a line, he went around 4 of them and dinged the 5th post.
Dang.
And that's how good he is. I've seen him skip into a hole in brush that's this big, that's 30 yards away. It's unreal. And like I say, I don't, and it's not, I'm sure it's not just Kyle. Like, I'm just using him for example because I fish with him and I see how he skips and things. But these guys really, all of these rookies, even the ones there was controversy with, man, they're phenomenal fishermen without forward-facing sonar. They just got, they're getting a really bad rap.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'm gonna get this content. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Me and John's good at dinging the pontoons on a pontoon boat. I'm good at that.
Oh, so am I. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. And it's funny because I just told you that whole story, and I had a tournament coming up, and a lot of these times Kyle, knows these lakes so good compared to me, and I'll ask for information and stuff. You do your due diligence, and you're looking at Google Earth and you're studying on a lake you might not have been on, or even a lake you have had experience. You're smart if you ask for information, or you gather as much information as you can. And Kyle said, "Hey man, if you go to this lake, you got to skip docks." And I said, "Dude, I hate to skip docks. I absolutely hate to skip docks. And what it is because I'm not good at it.
Yep.
Just because I simply hate it and I don't do it. If I did it more, I would probably get better at it. But it's one of those things where it's like, I'll figure out another way to catch them than skip docks. But what I don't like about it is because I either get hung on the dock, I hit the pontoon, the people are standing on their porch and I'm dinging off of their, bong off their dock, and I'm afraid they're going to come down and yell at me, So I avoid docks. So no different. I'm a dock dinger.
You're not alone. JRI Manufacturing / K&K Kustomz says you're using the term professionalism a lot. Can you please define what you mean?
Like I say, professionalism on and off the water, being a good representative of not only yourself, but the brand or companies that you represent. I think everybody kind of understands what it is in your life, not just in fishing, but to be professional. Like I say, avoid controversial stuff, just be professional. I guess I can't put that into an explanation because you're either know what that is or you don't. And if you don't, well, good luck to you.
Yeah.
It's like having character almost. I guess.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Have character, be professional, represent yourself well, and that might be just, not throwing a temper tantrum when you didn't catch them. Right. Or don't, it's funny because, Ike is who Ike is because of sometimes his temper tantrums and things like that. And, so maybe that's a really poor example, I guess, of being professional, but it worked for him. I guess, and I would almost say that's, non-professional, screaming, cussing, breaking a rod over your thing, or, I see it all the time. I don't understand. I know weigh-ins are long and things like that, but, guys dump fish, right? Like, don't get mad and just dump your fish, weigh your fish in. I don't know. There's instances where, I understand if the weigh-in's 2 hours long and, you only got one fish and, you're already have zero chance, especially a single day tournament, you might not want to stick around. That's not what I mean. But, like I say, don't be at your boat, putting your straps up and throwing rods in a rod locker, or, you know what I'm saying? Just be professional, take the good with the bad. Everybody has them. Everybody has bad tournaments, and it's the other thing too. If you have a good tournament, don't be cocky. That's not, to me, that's not professional. Don't, I've seen this in my own tournaments. Don't try to come into weigh-in 5 minutes late and, lie about it. Because you're going to get caught. That's, not professional. That's kind of what I mean about being professional. Just carry yourself in a manner that you would be proud of. And then, if you do that, then you're going to make the companies you represent happy.
Olivia has a couple comments here. One is, thank you, all great info. And the next one is, will K&K Kustomz be at the New England Fishing Expo or Bassmaster Classic?
We will be at the Bassmasters Classic. I do not have a booth at the Bassmasters Classic, but we will be at the Bassmasters Classic. How much on floor time I'll have or what booths I'll be in, if any, I don't know right now. I kind of use the Bassmasters Classic. We will be, I think we've kind of been in some talks of having a K&K Kustomz booth at the Classic. I'm just kind of waiting. The problem is logistical wise, these classics that are out have been Oklahoma, Texas, transporting booth stuff out there from New York is, I like to fly out there. Right. So I think if we see a classic on the East Coast somewhere, which hopefully we see possibly in the next year or two, then I believe we will have a booth at the Bassmasters Classic. The New England Fishing Expo, no, we will not be there. Not because we probably don't want to be there, We won't be there. This is a tough time. And this is the time, right, where all the fishing expos happen and things like that. But it's also a tough time for us because this is our busiest time of the year. So it's half a dozen or one or the other. Do we go out and promote ourselves at a fishing show? And, we're a small company and it takes us away from actually being there to answer the phones or take orders or fulfill orders and get them to customers on time. So that it's a rough thing. I would like to be better represented at expos. And, there's another thing, right? Come to me and say, hey, listen, if you're willing to, put the money into a booth or whatever, I'm willing to come up, pick it up, set up the booth and, represent K&K Kustomz at an expo. We can't be there, but, if you've worked with us and we know who you are and you're a good representative and you know what you're talking about, then that's another way that, you could help us.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Ashley Klaus says, what's the best way to reach out to potential sponsors?
She probably wasn't watching in the beginning. But the best way, in my opinion, to reach out to sponsors is to do things for that company before you even call them. Don't fill out a resume with your fishing accomplishments and I won this and I won that and I fish here and I fished this many tournaments this year and I won this much money. That doesn't move the needle I can tell you it doesn't move the needle for any company. What you're going to get is from some, you won't get it even from us. I probably won't even read your resume, but you might get a 10% off coupon, right? If you really want to be, and if that, like I say, some people, that's all they're looking for. And if that's what you're looking for, send out a bunch of resumes. But if you're looking to really partner and work with a company and hopefully stay with that company throughout your fishing career, wherever that may take you, the best way is to do things, right? I would start first, get a decent social media presence, and that don't pay for it, right? Grow it organically. Don't pay for it because a lot of people take that route, and there's ways we can tell whether you paid for it or not, just so you all know. So grow it organically and then represent that company. If it's us, right? Buy a product from us and then, make a post about it. Make an unboxing video. I love them. I love watching unboxing videos, right? Hey, cutting the box open. Here's my K&K Lido. I got it, right? I'm going to do it, install it on your pole or your Raptor. And then, make a video and put it out there online. And then, if you see us post an ad for that, comment on it, say, hey, listen, I bought one of these. It was great, man. I talked to Kevin. He got me set up. It came, within 2 days of me ordering it. If you do that type of stuff, then call. Don't email, send an email or whatever. Call that company up and we'll already know who you are. And then we'll give you the time to have a conversation with you. It may not go in the direction you were hoping it went, but we'll take the time I guarantee you I'll take the time to have a conversation with you. And, you might ask me for something that I can't give you at this point, but I may tell you, what, here's what you could do more for us. And let me see you doing this. And then, if that's working out, then give me a call and I think I can work with you. And I think, I can get you a discount on this or that, or, I can get you a free, something.
Yeah. So if I buy a Garmin, can I get a boat?
Ask Garmin that. I don't know. I think Garmin would be the one to ask because I think they're the multi-billion-dollar company that could afford to buy you a boat. K&K Kustomz is trying to afford their new boat this year, let alone buying one for somebody else. So.
Hey, you get him a canoe. You can afford him a canoe, maybe.
I don't even know I don't even know at this point if we can throw him a canoe.
Jeremy May says, y'all boys lucky I ran out of welding wire. What's up, folks?
What are you welding? That's a good question.
He's probably working on his own boat.
Yeah, Tom boat. Yep.
Yeah,
Nice.
John Boat. He does John
Nice.
Boat builds.
Nice. Nice.
John Adams says there's so much competition with small business in the fishing industry. You have to stand out in some way, like customer service. It's the same way with fishermen or women looking for a partnership with a business. They have to stand out.
That's exactly right. Agree with them 100%. That's how we built our business, or I built my business, I should say. Was on customer service, strictly on customer service, taking care of it. I mean, I still to this day, you can call me at 11 o'clock at night and I'll probably answer the phone. I've been a little bad about it lately, but if you text me, I definitely shoot you a text. But I'm trying to have a little bit more of a personal life than I used to have, as far as that goes. Making some time at least for myself. But yeah, I mean, it's I was on the phone the other night with a guy just through text, and he was asking me questions about a Garmin LiveScope system, and I was going back and forth, and he asked me, he says, we have a little selfless plug, but we've got the 106 SV Ultra 2 and the 126 SV Ultra 2 LVS 34 bundles. Now, Garmin just dropped them $1,100. So they're actually great value, and we've obviously been fielding a lot of calls about it. But this particular guy wanted to know, he said, hey, why are you, seemed like I looked and you're like the only one that's able to sell them at this? And I said, no, every Garmin dealer is. And I said, here, if you Google it, here you go. And I literally Googled it and sent them screenshots of that Garmin system from 2 other dealers at the thing. And people would say, well, why did you do that? Well, the reason I did that is because I know that customer knows that those 2 places, the company's not going to be on the phone that he's trying to buy from at 11 o'clock at night. So, I mean, I was more than confident if he's going to buy that, he's going to buy it from me. But he welcomed that, and he said, geez, man, thanks for showing me that. Like, that's kind of cool. And he did, and he bought a LiveScope system from us. But like I say, customer service is the number one thing you can do. I have a rule that if you call us and we don't answer the phone because we're assisting somebody else or whatever, if you call us and you leave a message, every message has to be returned before anyone leaves for the day. So 5 o'clock comes and we, officially close the doors of the business. I transfer the business line over to my personal cell phone so you can still get a hold of me. But I make sure anybody that got an email, a phone call, or whatever before they leave for that day, that is returned. So, and that's just good customer service. And, especially now in these times when somebody wants to buy something, they want to buy something. They don't want to wait. They don't want to hear back on a quote a week from now. And if you get back to them pretty instantly and they're wanting to pull the trigger, they're going to pull the trigger. And hopefully, that's with you, the early bird gets the worm, so to speak. But yeah, I mean, that's the same way is great customer service. And you should be thinking about yourself. Like John said, you're a business. Treat yourself as a business. And like I say, in business, what builds a business is great customer service. So if you're thinking of yourself as an angler and as a business, put out great customer service, and what does that mean? That means, going above and beyond, right?
Absolutely.
Don't just fulfill the obligations that sponsor is looking for. Try to go to that next level, that next tier, because they're going to notice it. And if they notice it, it's all about with the market, like they said, it is flooded with a lot of small companies, right? The bigger companies, I can't speak for corporate companies, a Humminbird, Lowrance, Garmin, Luz, those type of companies. I can't speak for them. That might be totally different what they're looking for and sponsored things. I represent the small business in the marine industry, and I think we're all looking for that same thing. We're looking for you to drive sales to us, and in return, we can help you for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, I have a question after this comment from Jeremy. It's like me and burning pies. We get along perfectly.
No comment.
You know what's
Yeah,
funny?
I'm not even going to touch that one. No
You want to
problem.
hear something funny? That happened the same tournament I fished with Kyle.
Oh, hey. Small
But
world.
no, my question,
Wait, I had stuff to say. I hear that your wife makes some mean cookies. Right? Am I right?
well,
Yep.
it depends on if I'm getting the W9 or not.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen some comments online that like her cookies are like, I don't mean to swear, but like the shit.
Yeah.
So
Big is your hand.
I just want to let you know, like, also a good way to a company's, heart or getting some sponsorship might be, some cookies in the mail or, go through, through our stomach way of getting to us.
Good plan.
So bribery works with K&K Kustomz, folks.
I like to eat. Yeah, bribery works. I mean, I'm not going to say no to some delicious cookies arriving at my door. It definitely is going to get you noticed. When you call, I'll know. I know who you are because them cookies came in your name.
John will send you some snickerdoodles. All right. Oh, Lord.
Roy Widgeon with the Kayak Angler Magazine says hello.
Hey, Roy. How's it going, buddy?
All right. So, and he says customer service is key.
Absolutely.
100%. I mean, I think we're all in agreement with that. I mean, customer service 100% is key. Whether you're the business or you're the angler looking for sponsorship, treat yourself like a business, and customer service is key. 100%.
I have a question for my personal, I don't know, just for me. Okay. I've been in this game for a long time. All right. Probably, over 20 years. And people say, here's what you have to do. Here's how you do it. And Okay. Do you prefer a tiered sponsorship proposal like gold, silver, bronze, or do you prefer a custom one that will suit you?
So, and I had mentioned something funny, gold, silver, bronze. I had mentioned something about that before the show. So I believe it was last season, I think he was a collegiate angler or he was a high school angler that was going to college. This shows you how much of an impression this made on me that I can't remember. But what made an impression on me was what he sent. Came in a FedEx box and it was a binder, and in there it had photos of him on the water. And I mean, it was put together beautifully. And then it obviously had his accomplishments in the back of it. And then the very back of the binder, it had a little card and it said, this is, you can either, he had some, it wasn't gold, silver, bronze,
Right,
like platinum or whatever, but let's just call it gold, silver, bronze. There was 3 tiers of sponsorship. And what we had to do as a company, what he wanted us to do was mark down on that card what package we chose and write a check and send it in. And although the presentation was nice, 100% wrong way to go about sponsorship. I would almost have to say that he didn't get a single check sent to him. And, he put some money into sending all that out. I don't know how many he sent out or whatever. I mean, maybe I was one of the lucky few that got one. I don't know. But that's, like I say, that's the wrong way to go about sponsorship. So yeah, there's don't come with an amount. And the funny thing is his amounts, his amounts were his bronze level of sponsorship was more than I've had offered to me than from some elite series anglers. So where he came up with the idea of that, like where somebody was just going to write him a check for, X amount, I don't want to say what the amounts were, but that amount of money, crazy. crazy. Just really wrong way to go about sponsorship.
What was he saying? He had illusions of grandeur.
He definitely had illusions of grandeur for sure. For sure, 100%. Like I say, all I can tell you is don't email a resume. It's going to go in the trash bin. I'd say the garbage, but we won't even print it out to throw it in the garbage. It goes right in the trash bin, gets deleted, probably doesn't get looked at. And, if a company's large enough to where they got people just in charge of sponsorship, it's, okay, throw them a 10% coupon and send it to them in the mail. That's as much as you're going to get from just sending out a ton of resumes. It's just the wrong way to go about sponsorship. Like I say, unless you're just one of those people that just want a 10% off coupon from companies. And to me, that's not sponsorship, right? Yeah. That's pro staff or affiliate. I wouldn't even call it like affiliate, because I don't like to say it's affiliate program, because we have it's not officially an affiliate program, right? I don't have on my website affiliate program, K&K Kustomz. Here's what you need to do: fill out your name and address, and we'll contact you. Right? We don't have that. I just consider the anglers that I work with on our affiliate program. But yeah, if you're just looking for pro staff and just want some discounts on product, then send them out. But if you're looking to make a career out of tournament bass fishing, and start out whatever level you start in, and some people, I back when we didn't have high school fishing, we didn't have college fishing. I think it's really awesome. I wish we had that when I was younger, but it's a great way to move up the tiers of sponsorship, is starting at high school. And then in that high school, that might be like Rob said, that might be going to the sports show and saying, hey, what labor work can I do for you? Can I vacuum the carpet in the booth before we open today? You know what I'm saying? And by the time you get to that opens level, you will have already established a very positive relationship with that company. And I guarantee you, if you started out vacuuming the carpet in high school and you've gotten to the point where you're fishing the opens, you're probably getting a 1099.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. You know what I'm saying? But it all starts there. It has to start at a low level and then work up. And like I said, Kyle, every year we step up with him. And there's going to come to a point where I just can't afford to step up with him. But he's, and this is one of the nice things is he said, hey, listen, man, you and Douglas rods and stuff, you were behind me from the start when nobody else was. And there might be a point when I grow my career and my level of sponsorship is at a point that you can't afford, you will always have a place on my boat.
Wow.
And that's, that means the world to me. There's been other people that we have helped throughout the years that are in the opens. The one particular angler made it to the Elite Series. We were with some type of a sponsorship with him in the first year in the Elite Series. And I had what I thought was a pretty good rapport with this angler. He's still in the Elite Series, had a pretty good rapport with him. And his sophomore season of the Elite Series, I hadn't heard from him, and we hadn't talked very much. And I messaged him. I think I texted him, and I said, "Hey, so and so." I said, we're doing something this year, as far as sponsorship. You're going to have to talk to my agent. And immediately, that was a giant turnoff for me. Red flag, exactly. I had been, if you can't give me your own personal attention, and I was behind you when nobody else wanted to be, you to me, you let fame go to your head, and that's not somebody I want to work with any longer. And we cut ties. Do I still think he's an okay guy? to some extent.
Yeah, I get it. I understand.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like I said, and you know, and I tell all my guys that are in. I use that as an example with my guys in the opens and stuff. And I say, hey, when you make it to the Elite Series, if you ever tell me I have to talk to your agent, you better look out and hope that we don't see each other. You know, and I'm joking with them. You know what I'm saying? But you know, some of them I told you I'll punch you. You know, I just don't ever tell me I got to talk to your agent. You know, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
I thought I was going to get punched when I caught that fish behind Kyle towards the end of the day.
I don't know.
No,
I don't
joking.
think
I'm
you know.
joking.
Be honest with you. I don't think it was the dock one. I think it was that one in the grass that I actually thought you might get. that fish. Yeah, that fish hurt. The dock fish
actually,
that wasn't so bad.
Actually, after the weigh-in, Kyle says, "I'm glad that fish didn't hurt me."
Yeah, I know, and it didn't that day. But man, I was like, oh, ouch, that one hurt. But you know, and that's you guys know. I mean, that's being a co-angler, right? I mean, it's just it is what it is. I mean, you can't. You might want to apologize for it, but at the same time, man, you paid whatever your co-angler entry fee was at the time. I don't know, was it 800 that then? But you paid. Yeah, 500, 800, whatever. But you paid your money. You're out there to catch your 3 fish, and that's just what it is. Man, I don't really want to get into my feelings about the whole no co's and bass traps. That's almost like it's almost like getting political. So I don't want to. Yeah. I don't want to go there, but And it was unfortunate for co-anglers. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. And for the record, I did apologize to Kyle several times.
Yes, anyways, and I know you did. You were very apologetic for it, which but like I said, you shouldn't have been, because that's everybody's out there, and they understand, and there's a certain there's a certain level of defending, backboating that goes on and stuff like that, and that's
always been it's not a new thing.
No,
it's happened for years before graphs and everything.
Oh, 100%. I mean, forward-facing sonar made it really, really hard on co-anglers for sure. Is there still opportunities to catch fish out of the back of the boat? Absolutely. It made it tougher for sure, 100%. I mean, I even see that, when I fish a derby, and I would like to say I'm very good with forward-facing sonar myself, so when I fish a tournament out of the back of Kyle's boat or something, I see what it's like to be a co-angler in a tournament that is, we'll just say Oneida, for example, right? Yeah. I mean, that's a tournament that's now more forward-facing sonar really plays, and then you're fishing very isolated rock piles, things like that. So that guy on the front of the boat, you're the guy on the back just hoping to catch a fish, and then that's like I said, that's what happened. And I think with that, the co-angler numbers started to drop, right? Because people were like, I'm not gonna do this. I can't catch fish behind a guy who's just scoping. And with those co-angler numbers dropping, bass also they also had to listen to the pro anglers, what we will say is the pros based on the opens, not pros, but the pro, the boater. Okay, that's a better example. They listened to the boaters saying, hey, we would really love it if we didn't have co's. So they had we really don't want to have co's, and we have, dwindling numbers of co's. I think it just came to a point where, they said, let's go no co's.
Yep.
I'm just reading Jeremy's last comment. But Jeremy says he just upgraded to a 16-volt lithium battery for his garments. The clarity is hands down better than anything on the market.
And if I can get into that, right? We said we could go a little off topic of sponsorship. So Powerhouse Lithium was one of the first to introduce the 16-volt lithium. I don't know what lithium you have, whether it's a Powerhouse or not, but 16 volts is 16 volts at the end of the day. They were one of the first to introduce that into the fishing industry. They were the first. Maybe weren't first in the market, but first with the 16-volt technology into the fishing industry to run our graphs on it. And people ask me all the time, if I buy this, will it make my graph clear? And I have to be very cautious about that because a lot of it depends on your boat, the wiring that you have. Do you have significant wiring? You know, what's your picture like now, right? You know, do you have 12 volts with proper wiring, 6-gauge cable running to the graph and this and that? You know, I don't sell it. I'll never say you're going to see better image with 16 volt because of, like I say, I'm a very honest person, and I don't want somebody coming back to me and said, I only bought this because you said I would see better clarity on my graphs. Everybody's eyes are different. Everybody has a different interpretation of what they're seeing. Everybody's boat wiring is different. Boat is different. So I don't think you can say that. But what I will say is everybody that has bought a 16 volt, whether it be from me, from Powerhouse, from any of these companies now who all of a sudden are jumping on that 16 volt wagon of putting out a 16 volt lithium for dedicated electronics, everybody says they see a better image. I myself, and this is just me, it's not me selling a product, I myself see a difference. So, you know, take that for what it's worth, but I would agree with you.
Hey, Rob, I'm in good shape. I got a 20-volt electric screwdriver.
You want to get some dangerous like that?
Yeah. Jeremy says, my wife treats our marriage like a business. I keep her honey-do list done, and she lets me fish.
There you go.
Good situation. Not bad. Not
Yeah.
bad.
No,
not
he's
a
got a
bad
couple more
situation.
comments we'll run real quick through.
Yep.
He says them cookies are banging.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? Another guy with the cookies. Where are they? I fully expect FedEx to be sending me a box of cookies.
Hint.
Or delivering me a box of cookies, I should say.
Still
Right.
warm.
He would pay child support for a monthly cookie box.
Hey, there's your boat payment.
Now, those are some damn good cookies. I told you what I heard, man. I reading. I go out in forums about equipment and stuff, and I'm hearing about these cookies. It's like they're famous or something.
Oh, they're the best cookie in my mind.
Oh, they are.
Jeremy says he has a dumb question. What product do you make? He was late to the party.
What products do we make? So I could go on and on. The best thing to do would be go on our website. There's a section on there, K&K branded products. It has its own section, and you can just click on that and you can take a look at them. We make from, shallow water anchor light, graph mounts. We make adapters for adapting using your current forward-facing sonar bracket on the new Ultrex Quest, which that was a problem. Everybody was buying the new Ultrex Quest, and then they're like, well, what the heck? It's got like a 3-sided square shaft, and my forward-facing sonar mount was made for a round shaft trolling motor. Like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So, we quickly came to market and developed the product that would allow you to be able to use your current mount and use our backing plate so you could correctly bolt that to a square shaft. That's just one of the products. We make a ton of stuff, and we keep coming out with new stuff all the time. We make 360 mount brackets for all of the trolling motors. We were one of the first to have it for the Power Pole Move. We make the clip and keeper sets that go on your trolling motor that hold your trolling motor shaft wiring. It's almost endless. We're actually working on some new products too as well that should be hitting the market here pretty soon. So we're starting to get a lot into our own branded items, and are specifically boat or boat equipment related, not so much fishing gear related, right? Like not, rod sleeves and things like that, but, cold tags, weighing bags, things like that. We're not going that market, but more what we see that we need that supports the products that we sell. So we sell a 360. So, obviously Minn Kota makes a mount for the 360, but, Lowrance doesn't make a mount for a 360. Garmin doesn't make a mount for a 360. PowerPole doesn't make a mount to mount a 360. So that's, where the aftermarket comes in, and, we develop products like that. We've come out with a dual graph bow mount, a single graph bow mount, and then a single multi-adjustable graph mount. Those are 3 new products that kind of hit in the last month or so, and that have been selling really well. And we also try to go above and beyond what some of these companies are doing. Like, a lot of the graph mounts are made out of 3/16 aluminum. We're making ours out of 1/4-inch aluminum, sturdier, but yet we're still selling them in that 3/16-inch aluminum price point, right? So we're trying to give you a better product, priced accordingly with the market with a lesser product.
Yeah, Jeremy, he says Oneida requires Dramamine with forward-facing sonar.
Sometimes it definitely does. It definitely does. I was out there practicing for a tournament, and the wind kicked up, and trust me, I needed some Dramamine.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I didn't even know if I was going to make it back.
Ooh.
Jeremy says Ionix was the first for the 16 volt.
They actually were not the first for the 16 volt, so I'll 100% disagree with you there. Ionic was actually very late to the party with the 16 volt. Powerhouse was the first to come out and introduce the 16 volt to the market, and that was years ago. I believe over 3, maybe 4 years ago. Impulse Lithium was actually the first one to have it on the market. However, there was some to-dos with that where they had basically they were working on it. Powerhouse was working on it. They got wind. Powerhouse was working on it, and they aired some batteries in and had them out to sell shortly before Powerhouse got it out. But Powerhouse was the originator of the 16 volt, and no, Ionic was actually very late to the party with that.
All right, we're approaching. Believe it or not, we're approaching 2 hours, so we're gonna wind this down if you don't mind.
I don't mind. Trust me.
Well, Kevin, we thank you for coming on and talking about sponsorship plus electronics and other things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I'll be expecting a free light to go with my boat. Well,
I'll be expecting some cookies to arrive at my door. On that note,
it's still warm. It's still warm.
I can be bribed.
Yeah. Now we'll talk more about the cookies later. But no, seriously, let's talk about it now. What's your favorite cookie? Your favorite homemade cookie?
My favorite cookie?
Your favorite homemade cookie?
Favorite homemade cookie? I'll be so 100% those peanut butter cookies with the Hershey Kiss in them. That's my ultimate favorite cookie. And then obviously I don't turn down like chocolate chip with M&Ms in them. I'm not an oatmeal cookie guy by any means, but you throw some chocolate in it, and I'm good.
Okay.
No almonds, right. no nuts or any type. Just I'm a straight up cookie guy with chocolate in it.
There you
brownies, go. Chocolate brownies, provided they don't have nuts in them. Just a straight chocolate brownie. It can be chocolate frosted.
Just a hint.
I have a full pan of chocolate brownies upstairs.
Chocolate.
All right. Well, thanks, Kevin. One thing I'd like to offer the guests, I know you're not too far away from Cayuga Lake, but if you ever want to come up and stay at the house, you're more than welcome to. Absolutely.
I appreciate that. Right. I know I was buzzing in your ear for some waypoints on Cayuga, although I fish Cayuga well. You can never have enough waypoints. So I think I asked you for some info last year. So yeah, if I do get up that way, the nice thing about Cayuga where I am is it's not that far away. So for me, even if I'm doing 2 days back to back, I kind of appreciate the offer, but always sleep better in my own bed.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I mean, like I tell people, the downside of being at my house is there's always homemade cookies.
Well, now we're starting to talk.
Uh-oh.
I could sacrifice some sleep for some good baked goods.
Jeremy says it's been fun, guys. Thank you. Talk to you later.
Yes.
All right, guys. Kevin, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it. Appreciate all the conversation we've had, both personal and professional. You take care and keep running a great business with great support and customer service.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Rob and John.
All right, man.
All right.
Take care, buddy. Have a great 2025, man. More success to you.
You too. Hopefully I'll be seeing you guys again.
Definitely.
All right. Take care, buddy.
Bye-bye.
All right. See you.
All right.
All right. Hey, we set a record tonight.
Yeah. Al,
Hey,
I think we're
said
getting.
11.
He said we got to 11.
My laptop's about to die. I can't do 11.
No, I can't either.
All
Not
right.
tonight. I want to mention something on here, not related to sponsorship or electronics that we've covered. The fishing world in the Northeast has lost a great co-angler. Last couple days, Aaron Wilkie lost his battle with cancer. Our prayers and condolences go out to the Wilkie family and everyone whoever has been in touch with him, talked to him, friends with him. You know, he's one of those guys, you either love him or you like him. You know, there's no hate there. So I just want to say thank you to Aaron for being on our show before, and good luck.
Absolutely.
His
Prayers up
family
for his family and all his friends.
Yeah. So I'm going to do a short recap of this video right here. Be genuine, be honest, be professional, and good luck.
Yep.
Sponsorship is not
And
an
work
easy
hard.
task.
And work hard.
Yeah. Show them your worth before you ask. So.
Yep. And phone call or get to know the company, use their products, call them instead of dropping a resume, and get them to recognize your name, and it'll pay off.
Yep. All right. Anything else, Rob?
No, I mean, great show. I mean, we appreciate K&K Kevin, coming in, and he always brings it. So, and appreciate everybody commenting, liking, subscribing. We appreciate you guys all.
All right. Take care, folks, and have a great night, and hopefully see you in a couple days on Monday.
Absolutely. Peace.